The magic really happens when you trust the process, when you can blend logic with faith. It's about knowing that while your brain is primed to notice these patterns, there is something bigger at play. Welcome to Intuition Unlocked, the podcast empowering empathic women who feel misunderstood, overwhelmed, or disconnected from their intuition, begin to trust their sensitivities, find inner clarity, and show up with embodied, unstoppable confidence in their daily lives. I am your host, Olivia Ashley, an empath and intuitive, and I am so happy you're here. Have you ever had one of those moments that felt like more than just a coincidence? Like the universe lined up a perfect moment just for you? These aren't random. They are synchronicities, and they might be the breadcrumbs you need to follow your own intuition. Hello, and welcome to Intuition Unlocked. I'm Olivia, your host and guide, and today we're diving into the magical world of synchronicities and signs, the universe's way of communicating with us. In this episode, you'll learn what synchronicities are, both spiritually and scientifically, how to notice and interpret signs in your everyday life, and how to invite more of these guiding moments into your life through intention and presence. So, what are synchronicities, and where did the idea come from? The term synchronicity was actually first introduced by the psychologist Carl Jung. He described it as, quote-unquote, meaningful coincidences. Events that don't have a clear cause and effect connection, yet feel deeply significant to us. For example, Jung shared a story of a patient who dreamed of a golden scarab beetle. During a therapy session, as she described the dream, an actual beetle resembling a scarab flew into the room. To Jung, this was more than chance. It was a symbolic connection meant to guide her towards her transformation. Spiritually, synchronicities are often seen as messages from the universe, your highest self, or divine guidance. But there's also a grounded scientific side. Our brains are wired to look for patterns, a process called apophenia. When you are focused on something important, your reticular activating system, or RAS, tunes in and notices things aligned with your thoughts or intentions. It's why you might suddenly see your lucky number everywhere after thinking about it, or hear someone mention something you've been pondering or thinking about. So now that we know a little bit about synchronicities and the background of it, how do we actually spot them? Well, there are many ways they can show up. Firstly, numbers. Repeating sequences like 111, 222, 333, often also called angel numbers, are really common, easy ways that you can start to notice synchronicities or set intentions to get guidance through the numbers. For me personally, significant numbers that stand out to me are 716 because my birthday is July 16th, and recently it's been 33 and 77. I am seeing them everywhere, specifically on license plates or road signs when I'm out and about, but you can find them anywhere and attribute your own significance to them. That's the thing with synchronicities. What is meaningful to you is probably not going to be meaningful to someone else, and that's the things to notice. Another way they can show up is through symbols in nature. So maybe there's an animal that comes forward, or a flower, or a tree, and you just get this feeling and you just know, like this was something there for me. Animals and plants often want to be communing with us, but we're not attuned or often open to that connection. So start to notice, is there an animal or an insect or a plant that you really just feel drawn to or resonant with, and add a meaning to it. Like, what does that mean when you see these things? What do you want it to mean? But also, is there a meaning deeper that is already there and guiding you? For me, sunflowers have been very important and supportive through my entire life. Since I was a child, when I see them, it just feels really light and sunny and supportive and like loving. There's a loving presence. And I also really resonate with cardinals and birds at the moment. Birds I've always had a deeper relationship with, especially the hawk. But since my father has passed, the cardinal has come forward as the representation for him. And I have had quite a few synchronicities this week where people give me something and there's a cardinal, or I'll look at a post and there's a cardinal, or my background on my desktop will change and it's this beautiful bird. So I have my own meaning to these, but notice for you if there are things in nature that have meaning. Another way they could show up would be through uncanny coincidences. So thinking of someone and they call and text you moments later, or hearing the exact advice you need in a random conversation or on the radio, or you asking a question, wanting to know about something, and a book sticks out that is similar to what you're looking for answers for. There's also things like feathers, coins, little trinkets that might come towards you. Usually it stands out, it's significant. You just feel different when you notice it or you sense it. The key to recognizing signs is to stay open. Synchronicities often show up when we least expect them, but we most need them. So pay attention to what you're feeling or thinking in these moments. There's often a deeper connection. While synchronicities can seem spontaneous, you can actually invite them into your life by setting clear intentions and staying present. And here's a path to do so. Firstly, you're going to set an intention. You're going to start by getting clear on what you're seeking guidance for. Write it down, say it out loud, or hold it in your heart. For example, I'm open to receiving signs about the best direction of my career. Secondly, you're going to stay present and observant. The more you slow down, the more you will start to notice. So practice mindfulness, take walks in nature, or even pause for a moment of gratitude. When you're present, when you settle back into your body, the subtle messages of synchronicities can begin to stand out. So maybe when you go for a walk, you don't bring your phone or you don't listen to something. You're just taking it in. Or when you're doing the dishes, you're breathing slowly and connecting and grounding. By doing these practices, it helps your body stay in a more easeful, restful state versus stressed and the mental chatter going and going, because then you often miss things that come forward throughout your day. Next, you're going to ask for a specific sign. So maybe you ask to see a butterfly, a certain number, or even a song lyric to confirm you're on the right path. I've done this before and have been blown away by the signs that show up or when they show up. It's not always exactly how I expect it, but it's always in a way that's meaningful and I get the hint of what they're trying to share. Lastly, reflect on your sign. When a synchronicity happens, take time to notice. Immediately drop in and get a sensation around what did that invoke when you saw that? What did it mean to you? Did you have a meaning set to it or an intention around wanting something to come forward? And if nothing comes forward yet, or if you're not in a space where you can think about it, when you can, write it down and journal about what it could mean or how it aligns with what you're asking for or wanting to know. Trust that even if it doesn't make sense now, it will in time. The more you tune into synchronicities, the more they're going to appear for you. It's like building a relationship with the universe and yourself, and when you notice and honor the signs, the messages become clearer. For example, when we were hunting for our first home, I got a sense that there was going to be a horse, that a horse was going to be near or around us, and that was going to confirm this was where we were meant to be. I trusted it fully. And so we looked, and one, we weren't really liking what we were seeing, but two, there was no horses. And not that that was like an end all be all, but I trusted that I was given that for a reason. And within a couple days of me getting that, setting like, yes, I'm going to look and have that be an intention or knowing, my husband actually was out with our realtor and found a house, was in love with it. And when I asked him more details, tell me about it, he also brought up, hey, there was a horse. There's this beautiful big property right behind where our home would be built. And every day we would walk and get to see this horse. And so I knew like, oh, okay, I had some reservations or I was still nervous. It's a big deal, a big choice. And yet knowing that there was this horse and my husband was the one to see it and bring it up to me made me feel like, yes, trust this, trust the process, go see it. And that became our home. So I like to share that because they can be around really small things, but also really big things, and they're significant. And the hardest part, I think, with synchronicities is trusting that one, you're going to receive something, two, trusting what you feel when you receive a synchronicity or a sign, that it means what you think it means, not misattributing meaning or putting your own lens on top of what you received, allowing them to come and be when they show up and honor the moments that they are there. Other synchronicities I keep having is the number 33 is a great one of About 7 years ago in 2018, when I first started working with my intuition, connecting with my guides myself, I received a really deep message that when I turned 33, it's going to be a really big year. Like that 33rd year, the threes, just where I'm at in my life, there are some big things happening. Like it's a pivotal point of like a fork in the road type. Life goes elsewhere, and I can't even imagine what it is. They did not give me much more. And so while I've kind of just had to let that go, at the time I was in my late 20s, but leading up to this year, which in 2025, I turn 33, I have been getting more and more and more 33s, and along with it, the 77, which to me feels like luck and angels and connection and keep going. So I will have to let you know what comes in my 33rd year, but they're ones that just get me excited or just feel like, yes, keep going, listen to my path, walk with my path. I received that sign. I am trusting that was a reason, and I've been preparing for this moment, and I'm open to whatever my 33rd year brings. It feels like they're playing with me or just connecting and communicating with me when I see those numbers. It's their own wink to me. So notice what's coming up for you. Is there immediately a sign you can think of that's connected maybe with a loved one that's passed, or an animal that you've felt dear and connected with since you were a child? Or maybe you're really looking at a big decision or something's coming up and you're feeling like you need some guidance. Set a sign, set an animal, set a number, set a coin or a feather or something that is possible to come up for you, or really challenge the universe. If you're a little unsure if this is real or, how is this going to go, give them a challenge. Do something a little bit random, and I promise you they will delight. And while I love the spiritual, intuitive side of synchronicities, I also know and trust that there is some science. I'm someone who trusts fully in the experiences I am having. That's enough for me. But I think as I navigate this realm and share this with more people, I do want to bring in some of the scientific aspects or the research going on, because it adds a value. It gives perspective. It gives us a deeper understanding of how do we as humans work? How does our intuition and our senses actually function? How does consciousness work? And so a little bit about synchronicities is there is a blend of spirituality and science behind them. So I think we can bridge the gap here with this one. Spiritually, they're seen as divine guidance, and scientifically, they're tied to your brain's pattern recognition abilities. When you set an intention or focus on something, your brain starts noticing things that align with it. Think about when you're shopping for a new car and suddenly that model is everywhere. This isn't a coincidence, it's your RAS at work. Yet there is significance, right? Just because we know why that's happening or why we're noticing that more, we're seeing that pattern, it doesn't mean that there isn't something beautiful and magical at work. The magic really happens when you trust the process, when you can blend logic with faith. It's about knowing that while your brain is primed to notice these patterns, there is something bigger at play. There's a connectedness that goes beyond what we can see and understand fully. And can you trust in that? Can that be enough for you? And can you really open to the possibility of, I am someone who's starting to look at my life of, instead of feeling like there's limitations or unsureness or worries, I'm looking at it as there is possibility and there is beauty, and I expect luck and greatness and magic and connection in my life, because that's what I want more of. So there's also a layer of programming your consciousness around what do you want? How are you operating? Because we are pattern recognition systems. So if you're stuck in, I only see the bad, I only see how I'm a victim, or life is not working for me, or life has to be hard, that's what you're gonna receive. That's what the science is telling us. So we can take that and integrate it into, okay, how do I wake up and focus on the good things that I want, the positive things that are going to come into my life today and work out, and the opportunities or people that are going to step forward to help and support me, and the beauty I'm going to see in that bird that flies by, or the song I'm going to listen to on my way home. We get to choose our vibration, our focus, And yes, the rest is up to life. The rest is out of our control. We know that. And can you accept it and still choose to show up in a way that fills you, that is led by your heart and allows for surprises and things you can't even imagine? Today, we explored the beauty of synchronicities, what they are, how they work, both spiritually and scientifically, and how to invite them into your life. Remember, synchronicities are more than just random moments. They're invitations to trust, reflect, and align with your path. If this episode resonated, I'd love to hear about your experiences with synchronicities. What signs have shown up for you lately? You can share your stories with me or tag me in a story on Instagram, and let's keep the conversation going and see how many people are being affected or having these beautiful synchronicities. And if you're enjoying this podcast, I'd be so grateful if firstly, you make sure you're following the show so you never miss an episode. And secondly, if you would leave a rating and review. It warms my heart to see them. It helps so much. I offer this fully with my heart with no expectation, but if you would like to give back, that's a way you can do so. And until next time, stay open, trust the signs, and remember, you are always being guided. Thank you so much for listening. I'll be back soon with another episode. Thank you for joining me on Intuition Unlocked. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe so you never miss a moment of insight, guidance, or intuitive inspiration. To dive deeper into our community and get access to exclusive content, head to my website at www.olivia-ashley.com and subscribe to my newsletter. You can also connect with me on Instagram at wildlyolivia for daily inspiration and updates. Remember, your intuition is your superpower. Trust it, nurture it, and let it guide you. Until next time, I'm Olivia Ashley, and I can't wait to connect with you again.